What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of La Banca Podcast in English. I'm your host, Mark, aka Marquinho, aka H. Segovia, as you see down there in the handle, along with two co-hosts this time, Aurelio and Little Man. What's going on, Aurelio?
Not much. How you guys doing today?
Doing good, man. How about Aurelio didn't join us last week. He had a little bit of an issue, man. How you feeling? You feeling better?
Better.
That's good. And last but not least, we want to say a special welcome to Little Man. Happy birthday, man. It's your birthday. It was birthday a couple days ago. How old are you turning this year?
25 for the seventh time. Yeah.
Yeah, man. We're all 25.
I can't seem to get out of that those years. I'm doing great. Thank you. Thank you one more time. Thank you for the birthday wishes, guys. I had a really good weekend. Friends and family, my wife, my kids, had an awesome time, and happy to be here in La Banca one more time in English.
No, that's good. That's good, man. It's always a good time to obviously spend those special moments with, those that you cherish the most and, that you love the most and all that good stuff. So, man, we wish you many more years to come. Hopefully, all that good stuff. So that way we can keep the show going for a long time. But let's get started, man. Obviously, we had a busy week of soccer. A lot of soccer going on in the leagues this past week. But before we get to all that, something's going on with my club. Unfortunately, a lot of bad stuff, a lot of bad juju over there in Barcelona. So we'll start off with that. Unfortunately, Barcagate is what they're calling it. Obviously, there was a raid in Barcelona's offices in the last 48 hours. A couple of high-ranking officials being taken in by authorities. Among those, former President Bartomeu, who spent the overnight in jail, connected with the whole social media thing, him contracting other companies underneath paying them money at the table, to kind of smear the name of certain players, Gerard Piqué, Lionel Messi, other high-ranking authorities in Barcelona, other, directors from Barcelona as well. So not a lot of good things going on in Barcelona right now as far as the front office goes, man. Little Man, I know you being a Real Madrid fan, you, I'm sure, are getting a kick out of this.
I mean, it's go ahead.
What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on this situation going on with Barcelona and the front office, man? What do you think about this raid?
Eventually, what as soccer rivals, this being in the office, I'm not so very happy about it. What I want you to be bad in the field. That's where my thing comes on. Outside the field, that's your thing, and that was your president who eventually paid a company named i3 Ventures to talk bad about your soccer players, Gerard Piqué, Leo Messi, Xavi, and other people from the candidates that were going to be the candidates for the presidency in the Barcelona. And he paid him. The first time he paid him a little bit over $1 million, and then he extended a contract of a little bit less than $1 million, and he would pay him $200,000. And once he did that, once he pays that amount, he doesn't need to report that to the staff, to the other people. So he was getting away with that money. So at the end of the day, they were like, "Where's that money?" Because at the end, you have to report it, right? They have to know. So that's where all this this Barcagate comes through. It's highly upset of Bartomeu. Really, he put the club in a bad situation, because now you don't have to talk about how bad sportly he left them in a bad situation economically, and now the club's name is being thrown down by his actions. I think he should be ashamed, and if he has any consequences, man, luckily it doesn't affect the it hasn't affected the team in the soccer field. Hopefully not, but it was
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, just to piggyback off what you're saying, man. Yeah, it's a shame when you have people in charge of a corporation, because let's face it, Barcelona is a brand, it's a corporation. It it does a lot of business, does a lot of charitable work, things of that nature. When you have the top heads who are responsible for the well-being of this club and everything underneath it, to go and do stuff like this behind the backs of of the club, it's a bad look. But things happen, and that's why Bartomeu is no longer the president. That's why he stepped down. One of the reasons why. Aurelio, what's your opinion on this going on, man? I know it's a pretty messed up situation, man, because obviously you're trying to get past this dark cloud that's hanging over you right now, ever since COVID started, right? And now to have this raid publicly be thrown around, and having the Barcelona name smeared, just like Little said. What's your opinions on what's going on right now?
It's shameful. It's what it is. I'm like, it's like you said, it's somebody that should be taking care of the club, taking care of the finances, taking care of the marketing, and making sure the team is in good hands, or it's in a good way financially. And what he did with the team is just mismanaged money. I'm like, pretty much giving away money. Uh, and he put the team, and he, like you said, he's just slandering the name of the team and certain players just because I guess they didn't like because he was pretty much being
Right.
kicked out.
Right.
Yeah.
So that just shows the kind of person he is. It's bad. I'm like, I hope he goes to prison, which I don't think he probably will, but
it's kind of comparable to what was going on with the presidential election here. With all the back in 2016 with the Hillary Donald Trump campaign election or whatever, when you had people talking about, hey, they're saying this, they're smearing Hillary's name, emails being leaked, kind of like hackers, having, like, I guess, Russians do all this bad stuff to kind of create turmoil and, like, a lot of what do you call it? A lot of heat between two sides, right? So that's basically what's going on here. I mean, obviously,
it kind of does, but at the same time, I'm like, it's two different parties. I'm like, you're one organization. You're pretty much slandering your own organization or your own company.
You're using
which is worse.
You're using the fans' money to talk bad about it.
To basically.
Players.
Yeah, basically, he was trying to make sure that he came out looking better than the rest of the people involved. That's the only difference, that it was with in-house. But yeah, man, again, like I said, it's a bad look for my club. Obviously, hopefully, we'll see what comes out of this. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a more deeper investigation into what's going on, and we'll hear more news as soon as that as it comes forth. I don't think this will be the last of it. Obviously, obviously it's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of money and being involved that needs to be reported and hasn't been reported, and needs to know what's going on, especially with the financial struggles that Barcelona are dealing with right now, financially as a club in whole. Like I said, it's a black eye for Barcelona right now. So we'll see what goes on, man. But obviously, with that being said, there's kind of a bright spot coming up for Barcelona. And before we move on to that, I just want to give a shout out to our co-host Fidel, his team. He's a coach for his high school team, Wisdom High School. Shout out to those guys. They won 3-0 today. Shout out to those guys, man. Congratulations, Fidel. Always rooting for you. Get them. But moving forward, man, obviously the elections for Barcelona that were supposed to happen in January are happening this weekend in March. Three candidates are on the ballot. Joao Laporte, who was the president before Bartomeu, Victor Font, and Toni Fiaxa. Three candidates with three different views on what the future holds for Barcelona, as far as a club, the finances, and a business. The bad thing about coming in as an incoming president, whoever gets elected, is that not only are you responsible for what the product is on the pitch, but now you're responsible of digging Barcelona out of this financial hole that they've dug themselves into. So Aurelio, I'll start with you first on this one, man. What are your thoughts on the presidential candidates? What do you think they're the main thing that they need to focus on in the first couple of months as president needs to be?
Man, I think is probably getting this whole investigation behind them to begin with. And then from there, you're gonna have to start seeing your financials because at the end of the day, I'm like, it's what's gonna run your team at the end of the day. So you have to look at the financials and then the product you're gonna have on the field. I just honestly think Messi's gone. So we probably won't be able to count on him. They're not going to get nothing for him. He's going to just walk out the door. That's just going to leave them. I want to say it's going to be a rough 1 to 2, maybe even 3 years for them. To be honest, they're going to, like I said, they have to get their financials. They're going to have to look really, really deep into their academy to see what they have coming out. They're going to depend a lot on their academy too, because, like I said, since their financials are bad, I'm like, I don't know how much money they're going to have to spend on players.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be one of those things where obviously the quality of product on the pitch is going to be affected because you're not going to have the money to spend on the high-end players that we're so accustomed to seeing Barcelona buy. But in the same time, I think it's a reset. It's a reset for Barcelona. Little, I'm going to ask you this: Do you think that the most important thing for the next president, whoever it is, being Laporta, Font, or Ferexa, do you think it's more important for him to follow up on whatever the product on the pitch is, or to find out the finances for the club? I mean, which one do you think goes first in hand?
They're all promising. Their speeches are the same. How to get the team out of debt. The team is in incredible debt. There are over a little bit of a billion with the B, not with the name, guys. He has a lot. Whoever becomes president, first, they all promise the same thing, right? But he has a lot on his shoulders. A lot. How to create money. How to get money inside the club. How not to spend money crazily like they usually do. And they all promise too how to keep Messi in the house. For the safety of the club, they need to let go of Messi. Thank you very much. Thank you for all you've done for us. Goodbye, and please come back soon as a coach or as
advisor or something like that.
Advisor, something like that. Next president needs to start looking, just like we said, need to get sponsors, how to get into digital, how to create money, man. And Mark, me you talk about this. They're gonna let go of some really good talented players, man. In order to get money in the club, they can help you out pay that debt, and also start creating players. It's basically Mark. It's like you're gonna start how to learn how to walk again. Yeah. If I understand what I'm saying, right? You have to start all over again.
But the good thing about a club like Barcelona, in my opinion, obviously, they do have a lot of talent in the academy. It's obviously that they have shied away from bringing academy talent back up to the team, to the first team. But I think they do have a lot of talent in the academy coming up, and I don't think the wait is going to be as long as you think it's going to be. It's one of those things where, obviously now you're going to have to pick and choose, what players you're going to decide to keep and who you're going to decide to let go. Obviously, the big name in the room, the big elephant in the room is Messi. A lot of them, are tying their presidential election to keeping Messi here. I don't think that's the biggest need. Regardless of what Messi does, whether he stays or he goes, I think that's going to be made up by him and his family. I don't think that has nothing to do with whoever the presidential candidate is. Honestly, I think it's just whether the comfort of Messi's family is to let him go to another league or the family will here to stay in Barcelona. but regardless of the fact, I think it's going to be an interesting situation for the next president to see who, how they recoup money, because obviously your most valuable assets are your young players, Ansu Fati, Frankie De Jong, maybe Dembele now. I mean, he's getting back on trail, whatever. But we'll see what happens. Pedri, Trincao, players that you deem the future of Barcelona, but before you get to the future, you got to worry about this present, because obviously there's a lot of finances that need to be done. What do you do with a player like high earning players like Griezmann, Piqué, Umtiti, Busquets, players like those? But it'll be very interesting to see. Obviously, first we're going to see who gets elected. I think Laporta is going to be the next president again, but who knows? Anything can happen. But I'm very interested to see. I'm very eager to turn the page on this past chapter and move forward, and to see what brings along with that. But obviously, now that we've spoken about all the bad things in Barcelona and what's going on with the whole scandal over there and all that good stuff, let's talk some good things about Barcelona. Barcelona has closed the gap in La Liga. They're in second place right now, 5 points behind Atletico Madrid. And Atletico Madrid have a big showdown against rivals Real Madrid and the Madrid derby this coming weekend. Big match, because obviously if Atletico wins, they can cement themselves, and put themselves in great position to win La Liga. But if they lose, then it puts Real Madrid and Barcelona in a good position to overtake them, and one of those teams winning the La Liga. Little man, obviously you're a Madrid fan. Clásico Madriano is coming up this weekend. I know what side you're on, but what do you think the chances are for Real Madrid to overtake Atletico, and what do you think Atletico need to do to make sure they don't get overtaken by Madrid?
Well, just to let you know, Mark, Real Madrid is one of the two teams that beat Atletico de Madrid during the season. They were the first team to beat Atletico de Madrid. They really did a good job, dominated and win with the 2-0 win. It's very interesting, because if Real Madrid tied La Real Sociedad this past Monday, and if they had the chance to, if they would have beat Atletico de Madrid this Saturday, they would have been the number one spot. Now with that, when that tie game, now they're 4 points behind, and they're tied. We're at 5. Okay,
Yeah, 5 points.
Yeah, 5 points behind with Barcelona. If Atletico de Madrid wins, they're gonna go up by 8 against Real Madrid, and it's gonna be up to Barcelona if they want to be behind them, 3 points behind them. I think it's very interesting what's gonna happen this Saturday. We're gonna see. I mean, right now, I was really surprised how Barcelona handled, because I thought they were probably gonna lose against Sevilla, because they did lose against Sevilla in La Copa del Rey 2-0. So I thought Sevilla was gonna just do the same thing. Eventually, they didn't. And Barcelona, from being 5th, now it's number 2. Just a few weeks ago that we recall and remember. Yeah. So it's very interesting, though. It's very good. It's very emotional. It's pretty good. Pretty
Aurelio,
good stuff, man.
What do you think the chances are for Atletico to win this weekend?
They're good. Like I said, it's a team that's been playing good. They're at top of the league for a reason. But I'm like, it's a I guess you could call it's a derby. So I'm like, derbies are usually played differently than any other game. So it's going to be a lot of more heat, a lot of more fire in both teams. Just to put a statement of who's in charge of the city, or what color are the cities going to be. But as I see it now, I think Atletico is going to win. But man, it's like I said, it's a derby, so it could go either way.
Yeah, I mean, obviously when it comes to clásicos or derbies, how you want to call them, they're played differently. You're exactly right. It's one of those things where Atletico, we know they're little brother. their little brother to Real Madrid and things of that nature. But sometimes the little brother wants to come in and step in front of you. And this season, they've been in front of Big Brother for the all season. And they have a great opportunity to win La Liga this season. They have a great defense. Obviously, they've allowed the fewest goals in all the league. They have a great striking duo in Joao Felix and Luis Suarez. But it's one thing to say that you have the better team on paper, but it's another thing to actually go on the pitch and achieve that win, which obviously we've seen that they weren't able to do earlier this season when they lost against Real Madrid. It'll be very interesting. Like I said, it's a must-watch game. I know I'm going to be watching it. I know Little's going to be watching it. I know we're going to be texting back and forth, seeing what's going on. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting, and I think this game is crucial. It's critical to their championship aspirations for Atletico Madrid, and obviously to Real Madrid's title aspirations. Because if Real Madrid loses, that puts them, I think, 8 points behind Atletico Madrid.
Yeah,
it puts them 8 points, but keep in mind Atletico still has a game in hand.
Yeah,
so
a game in hand.
That 8 points can easily be 11.
Yeah, and once you go double digits at this point of the league, it's kind of hard to come back from that. So
it's if it becomes a tie game in between Real and Atletico, Barcelona has a pretty good chance to win it.
Yeah.
Because they're just going to be behind 1 point. Any little mess up from Atletico, and they can go up by 2 points.
Yeah, it puts Barcelona in a good position.
Yeah, if it's a tie game between them two, Barcelona can be having a good chance to become champion.
Yeah, obviously, because obviously that puts them in the driver's seat, because they meet Atletico in a couple of weeks after this Clásico that Madrid has with Atletico. So they control their destiny. If Barcelona can win this weekend and Atletico and Madrid tie, then they hold the keys to the La Liga. But if Atletico can show their dominance and beat Big Brother, then Atletico grab the bull by the horns and they're in control. So we'll see what happens, man. It's going to be a very interesting match. Obviously, a battle of two different formations.
Me personally, I think it's Atletico's has the upper hand because they still have that game in hand. So
True.
whether they win or lose, I'm like, they still have that extra game to play.
But we spoke about this last week, Aurelio, when you were gone. They had a big advantage, right? They had like a 10-point lead on second place. They had like 2 games in hand. But the 2 Levante games, them dropping points like that, they had a loss against them and a tie, so they dropped. Instead of gaining 6 points against the team that you're superior on, they got 4 points from you out of a possible 6. So that's tying up the race, for La Liga, and that's why we have a race now that we can talk about. But I know Little mentioned it last week, and I'll ask you right now before we go on to the next subject. Do you feel that Atletico can withstand the pressure of Barcelona and Madrid breathing down their necks?
Mm-hmm. I do.
Yeah.
But you have to understand, it's not the same Barcelona or Madrid that it was 3 or 4 years ago. And at the end, if you really look at it, it's the same Atletico.
But no, it's the same Atletico, Aurelio. They always chokes at the end.
Yeah, but you don't have the same teams. You don't have the same strength of teams following you behind.
Still, Aurelio is the same team that always chokes at the end. It's the same coach at the end. When he really needs to come up, he always chokes.
True.
I guess
True, but I'm like, you don't have those fighting horses that you did in Barcelona and Madrid, Real Madrid, that you did 3, 4, 5 years ago.
Right.
What you're saying is you don't have a Cristiano Ronaldo breathing down your neck, and you don't have
It's not just that. I'm like, the whole teams were completely different.
Yeah.
I'm like, those were dominant teams. Dominant teams.
But
like, no offense, but I'm like, this Barcelona and this Real Madrid are not that dominant.
Look, Aurelio, the thing is that, as far as we know, and you saw it, and you saw it last week. You were on the show, but of course you saw when Atletico de Madrid playing Champions League, how awful he played. He played with the 6 defenders against Chelsea. Chelsea, with all due respect for Chelsea people, Chelsea is horrible, and Chelsea even beat them. So it's It's the same coach. At the end of the day, he doesn't know how to handle pressure. He's a great coach. He's a good coach, but he has only a certain limit about where up to go. After that limit, he chokes at the end.
Well,
That's
then
what
I
we
guess.
talk about.
Well, then I guess we'll see what happens this weekend, and
We'll
we'll
see. It's
see it.
gonna be exciting though.
And we'll see if Diego Simeone can change little man's mind of him being a choker. But moving on, man. Obviously, you know, we just mentioned Atletico Madrid versus Chelsea in Champions League. We're gonna mention the last two games from last Champions League round of 16, the first leg, which were Man City versus Borussia Mönchengladbach and Real Madrid versus Atalanta. We're not going to speak much on the Manchester City game. They did what they needed to do. They won. Obviously, they're on this fantastic streak of 21 games straight with a win. They're in super great form. So really, they went in there. They did what they needed to do. They beat Mönchengladbach with really no pressure. But let's go back and talk about Madrid and Atalanta, because last week we mentioned that this game was going to be very important for Madrid, whether they won or lost the game, but they ended up winning 1-0. For those who didn't watch it, we stated, well, myself, I stated this, that they needed to not lose by more than one goal to bring it back home and try to, you know, reverse the aggregate on Atalanta, because obviously they'll have Benzema back, they'll have Valverde back, maybe Ramos. They'll have hopefully a more complete squad when they get back to Madrid. But they completed the objective. They won 1-0. Atalanta, they lost a player due to red card on the 17th minute of the game, which really derailed them. It really derailed them. The coach even said it so themselves. I'm in agreement with the official. It was a red card, but the coach said, you know, it really basically debunked anything that Atalanta was trying to do, even though they still try to push forward and still try to, you know, take control of the game with 10 guys. They couldn't find the goals. They didn't achieve it. They didn't achieve what they needed to achieve and at home. And Real Madrid is in a great position right now to advance to the next round of the Champions League with basically all they need is a tie at home. Little man, I'll ask you this since it's your team. Do you think Atalanta have any kind of? Do you think Atalanta can pull this out? Is there any chance for them to, you know, get a result and advance to the next round?
Well, Mark, I've said it this many times. This is soccer. In soccer, anything can happen. Of course, the next game is in the Alfredo Di Stéfano Stadium. There's no public. So we cannot really say, oh, they're gonna play in my stadium, because obviously, with that being said, is that your fans are gonna play a very important part in the soccer game, right? There's no public. Anything can happen. Atalanta has a very very deadly offense. They got great strikers. The Colombian Devon, he's the guy that got injured and got subbed out. I'm pretty sure he's gonna come out and be as beast as he is. We're gonna get our defenders back. Ramos is gonna be back. We're gonna have a pretty good squad back. Benzema, hopefully he's gonna be back. Yeah, he should be back this Sunday. This Saturday for the game. I think we have a chance. I think that one score league, I think we can handle that. I think we can come up with something good at the end. That was a great result for us. We talk about this, how hard it was to dominate this offense that they have. And I mean, so many has been talked about, oh man, Real Madrid's lucky. Oh, Real Madrid did this. Oh, it was not a red card. It was a red card, guys. It was a red card. And everybody knew it. But hopefully it's a little advantage that we have. But hopefully we can keep that and we can come up with a W.
Aurelio, I'll ask you the same question, man. Do you think Atlanta have any kind of chance to advance to the next round, being down 1-0? Obviously, that away goal for Madrid is huge. Do you think they have any opportunity to maybe win 2-0 over there in El Alfredo de Stefano Stadium?
Man, it's like Little Man says, I'm like, at the end of the day, it's soccer. Anything could happen. Um, it's a possibility they can. Like we can think, oh, they can. There's a possibility. Then Madrid can come out and just dominate the whole game and win it 2-0 at home. But like I said, I'm like it's hard. I'm like we got to see. I know Real Madrid's bringing some players back from injury. We got to see how they cope this weekend for the following week, and how much in game shape you can say they are. Just because they come out of injury doesn't mean they're game ready either.
Yeah.
Because I know most of the time when you come out of injury, you're only playing for the first 2 or 3 games. You're being mostly subbed in. So we got to see how they come back, how healthy they really are, and if they can really contribute to the team.
I'm gonna give you my opinion on this, man. If I'm from a perspective of if I was Atlanta's coach, if I'm Atlanta's coach, I have no pressure. Basically, this is a pressureless game. I'm here. I'm gonna go attack. I'm not too familiar with the whole players. I know he plays a 4-3-3. I'm not too familiar with how his players are set up or how many different type of players he has. But in my opinion, even if Benzema starts and plays that Champions League game, I'm going a 3-5-2, man. I'm going all out. I want to dominate the midfield, create as many chances as I can, and just put as much pressure to that back line as possible. If Madrid scores on me, because my obviously I gave up a little bit on my defense so I can have more opportunity in my midfield to create for my top 2 strikers up front, so be it. But they gotta score too. They gotta take opportunities of those. They gotta take advantage of those opportunities that are given. And the Madrid that we've been seeing as of late for the last couple of weeks haven't. So, in my opinion, if I was the coach, I'm going there full frontal, full attacking mode. Everybody push up. Let's go get these goals. With that being said, obviously you leave yourself open for goals to be scored on you, counterattacks, whatever. But at the end of the day, I'm seeing as there's no pressure on me. Madrid already have the away goal. They have the full advantage. This is Real Madrid, one of the biggest clubs in the world. Blah, blah, blah. I'm going over here to shock the world.
Correct.
Yeah,
I think you're right. He doesn't have no pressure at all. Atalanta is a small team. Really, the pressure is always on the big club, which is Real Madrid, and hopefully, for Real Madrid fans, we can come out with the win or advance to the next round. It looks kind of hard as always. I mean, even though we got the one goal advantage, no, it's still going to be a complicated game. But hopefully we can come up with it.
Yeah, I mean, it gets harder the deeper you go in, but going from one tournament to another, and we're going back to Spain on this one. We're going to preview the Copa de Rey, and that's going to be our final topic. Obviously, we're going to keep on with the theme of Barcelona. Barcelona play in Camp Nou versus Sevilla. Obviously, we know Sevilla has a 2-0 advantage on aggregate. They won 2-0 in Sevilla the first leg. Little man, I'm going to ask you. Obviously, I'm going to go with you first. What do you think Barcelona can make the comeback and pull out the win and make it to the finals?
They should. I mean, they had a game against Sevilla this Saturday, and I thought, in my personal opinion, I thought they were going to lose against Sevilla because Sevilla obviously beat them in the first Copa del game
First leg.
First game. He beat them 2-0. And eventually, Barcelona beat them 2-1. So I'm thinking maybe, I think Sevilla is gonna go with it.
Okay,
Sevilla is gonna go with that. Then Sevilla is gonna advance. I think they should not have a problem. But like I said, I mean, it's kind of complicated to say because I really thought they were going to know. I thought Sevilla was going to win this past Saturday. I really thought so. It was how they said, but Barcelona has a great chance. I mean, I think they can beat them back to back.
Yeah,
they got the momentum going on.
Yeah, It's funny because Sevilla's always like that fourth team that nobody mentions. Obviously we know the big three being Barcelona, Real Madrid, and Atletico Madrid.
Right.
Sevilla have been very, very successful these past 10, 15 years. Obviously winning numerous Europa Leagues, winning a couple of Copa de Rey's and things of that nature. So, but they're always like the fourth big team in Spain, right? So obviously they hold a 2-0 advantage. Aurelio, I know you said something in the Spanish version of the show that 2-0 is the trickiest advantage to hold in soccer, which we all know. Yeah, 2-0 is always a tough advantage to keep. Do you think Sevilla can keep it though, or is it Barcelona's game to lose?
Man, well, to begin with, it's pretty much Sevilla's game to lose because they're already up 2-0.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, it depends. I'm like, I didn't see the game this weekend with Barcelona Sevilla, so I don't know how I know Barcelona won, but I don't know how it played out.
It's pretty one-sided. Yeah.
It's like I said, it's at the end of the day, it's gonna be Sevilla's game to lose just because they're already up 2-0, even though it's probably the trickiest scoreline you can have in soccer, being up 2-0. But you have to look at what Barcelona is going to bring to the table. How are they going to play? Are they going to go full attack? Are they going to sit back and see what Sevilla is going to do, or is Sevilla going to just pull back and be like, hey, we're up 2-0. Let's just try to take control of the ball and pretty much shut down Barcelona. So it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with you. So, Little, you have Sevilla going to the final, right? You said your Sevilla is going to move on.
Man, come on, Mark. Why are you doing this, man?
I'm before we get to the next game, I'm asking you.
I think Sevilla should complete the job.
Okay,
but
Aurelio,
look very clear.
Aurelio, who do you got moving on?
Away goal differences are
away goal differences matter,
man. So
Barcelona didn't score an away goal, so
I know. But if you have Sevilla scoring 1 goal, that means Barcelona has to score 4 goals.
Yeah.
So
we'll see,
man. Just because I'm a big believer in that 2-0, it's a deficit. It's a tricky. I'm gonna say Barcelona.
Okay. Cool. So, obviously, where my heart lies and where I'm rocking, who I'm going with, Barcelona. Now, let's not cover up the next game though. Even though it is it is between two smaller clubs, quote unquote smaller clubs, Levante and Atletico Bilbao. The interesting thing about this matchup though is that these two clubs, man, even for example, Atletico Bilbao, they're having a rocky campaign in La Liga. Obviously, they hired a new coach, who was the old coach for, I can't remember the team right now. I think Valencia was it. I can't remember.
This is he was from Valencia. Yeah, he's the one.
So obviously they started off with a bang, winning the Supercopa de España against Barcelona. So they got a trophy and they got a trophy this year, which is a big deal for a club like that. They're in a semifinal, another tournament, which can solidify themselves. I think winning Copa de Rey solidifies the Europa League spot or qualifying spot for Europa League or something like that. I'm not too sure. I have to look into that, but which would be greatly impactful for a club like Atletico Bilbao, because obviously with all the financial restrictions, because of COVID and all that stuff. But Levante have been having a great month of soccer in La Liga. Obviously, because of them, there's a title race now in La Liga because they beat Atletico Madrid 2-0, and then they tied 1-1 to take 4 points out of a possible 6 from Atletico. They're fighting right now in the league for a European spot in the Europa League, which is big for them because obviously all the money and financial implications that go with that, with qualifying for a European spot. So two clubs that are normally mid-table clubs that don't normally, sniff trophies, with a great opportunity to go for a trophy and for a European spot. So with that being said, obviously Atletico Bilbao have I think it's a 1-0 advantage right now over Levante. What do you think?
1-1.
Well, 1-1. Is it 1-1?
I think it's
Yeah,
1-1.
Yeah,
1-1.
okay, 1-1.
Somebody has the away goal, so that's the advantage right there.
Atletico Bilbao have the away goal, so they have the advantage. Yeah.
So are we gonna have a rematch in the Copa in la Supercopa?
Well, that's my question to you, Little. Do you think Atletico Bilbao advances over Levante, or do you think Levante continues its momentum?
I think they are. I think Club Levante has a pretty good chance. Obviously with the 1-1, and they're gonna play in San Mamés. That's the name of the team. And it was Marcelino is the coach. It's a coach for Atletico de Bilbao. Marcelino. He was the one that coached him. Last. I'm sorry, guys. Okay,
so you think Atletico Bilbao with the advantage of the away goal move forward?
Yeah, I think so too. There's a big chance to have a rematch from a Supercopa to have this. You know, I think it's a big chance. Barcelona got a lot to do against Sevilla, but like we said earlier, I'm sorry to be so repetitive about this, but anything can happen in soccer, man. I think they can come up with it.
Barcelona just needs to make sure they don't get a goal against them.
Barcelona has 2 big weeks coming up, guys.
They do. So, I mean, okay, so then you have Sevilla, Atletico Bilbao in the final, Little, and Little, and then Aurelio, who do you have coming out the Levante and Atletico Bilbao match?
I'm going to go for Levante.
Levante. Levante's a feel-good story, man. I'm not going to lie. I kind of want to see them, make it to the final. And it would be nice to see them lift the cup as long as it's not against Barcelona. If it's against Barcelona, then obviously I want Barcelona to win. But man, I'm happy to see these clubs, fighting in these tournaments and making it to this far, because it's great to see for clubs, that don't normally get a chance to win like league titles, things of that nature. But it's good to see them everywhere. So we'll see what happens, man. So, for me, I think it's going to be a rematch for the Copa de Rey, the Supercopa de España. I'm taking Atletico Bilbao in Barcelona. Aurelio, you say it's going to be Barcelona and Levante, and Little Man says it's going to be Sevilla and Atletico Bilbao. So 3 different matches. So we'll see who comes out of this, man. It's going to be interesting to see. And with all of that being said, guys, we're coming to the end of the show. But before we go, we're at 180 subscribers right now, which is fantastic, guys. We appreciate all the support, all the likes, all the comments that we've been receiving, you hooking up with us on live chat. We have a goal. We're trying to get to 200 before the end of March. It's March 2nd. So, help us out. If you got friends who love soccer, who love to talk soccer, whether it be in English or in Spanish, let them know about us. Share the link of the video when you watch it. If you're on live chat, send it to them while we're live so they can interact with us during the shows. But make sure you like and subscribe with us. Make sure you keep being engaged with us and all that great stuff. Guys, before we go, is there anything else you want to add, Aurelio?
No, man. Just have a good night. Thanks for being here with us. And like Mark said, just share and follow.
Little Man.
Yeah, like you said, Mark. Talk to your friends, family members, mom, dad, uncle, niece, nephew. Tell them to subscribe, give us a like. We really appreciate you guys. Listen to us talk about crazy stuff in soccer. We're not really professionals. We just like to do this because it's fun, and it's always good to talk about soccer. It's a great sport. I've been doing this for so many years, talk about soccer, and I love talking about soccer. And hopefully, y'all like it. Give us a like and a subscribe, and have an awesome good night.
Yeah, guys. And with that being said, we'll see you next week again, 7:30 for the Spanish show, English show right after. Guys, have a good night. See you next week.
All right, have a good night, man.